All right, we'll do 10 push-ups after this match happens.
Yeah, we're going to go back to cams after.
Backflip banned by FUT, which means Edge, the map that we've been speculating on, is available. An alternate attacks ban dive away, so there goes my hopes, unless they're hiding picks.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Obviously, Edge was the other one that we were thinking. You were thinking that there would be kind of those were their top two.
I could see them going for its second pick for alternate attacks.
Yeah. Well, Cosmos up first. Our wicked follow cam, helicopter cam, I guess.
Yep.
Would be
helicopter
what you would
cam.
call it. Yeah.
Bird's eye view, the hawk cam,
The hawk cam, yeah.
I don't know, something else. Tempest, interesting. FUT looked solid on Tempest, and there is Edge second for alternate attacks as well. I mean, look, makes sense to me. That's a point where we've talked about it a lot. You want to be either kind of locking the match up, you know, really putting yourself in position to win because you're 3-0 up, or maybe things are going a little bit badly. You need an edge, ironically, and that'll give it to you there for alternate attacks.
Yep. Well.
Oh my god, we've got Cosmos in chat.
Oh my god, Cosmos with Cosmos.
It's the map. Right. That's there.
Wild.
That's crazy. There's only one thing to do, which is to go and
personified.
You gotta go and hunt world record on that Cosmos.
Please, like get that. It would be insane. Valiant Tubes, the final, or not the final maps, but the second and third picks for FUT and alternate attacks, respectively. FUT's last pick upcoming, Twisted, and then Surf is going to be the decider. So. Twisted, we did not see that last series. That was banned out last series, interestingly. Probably the most normal map out of them. Obviously, tech with elevation changes is a bit wild, but I think it is probably the most normal kind of driving style compared to with the other maps.
Well, it is very tech heavy, right at the kind of, especially the identity is literally just like, hey, how good are you at neo sliding a lot of the time? How hard are you willing to push that? But in that sense, it's kind of similar to Slowdown from the previous snap packs, where it is just about risking as hard as you can, you know, and sometimes you're going to over risk and get a little bit of airtime and it's going to ruin your identity. And sometimes you are just going to manage to push and keep all four wheels on the ground and get an overtake done. And either way, Twisted is a pretty fun map to watch. We had a discussion while you weren't here last week talking about, you know, what it takes to actually integrate full speed well into a map, into a mixed style map. It's not easy, and I'm at least I enjoy Twisted for the attempt to blend very slow tech with full speed.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I was doing the prediction, so I didn't really listen to what you said.
No, that's entirely fair, Twiggy. I think the main issue with Twisted as an attempt to blend full speed and tech is that, like, any speed advantage that you do pick up over the course of the full speed sections is immediately negated by the fact that you just kind of fully end up slowing down for the slow tech sections, which means that, well, what's the full speed is kind of just there to connect tech sections. You're not really expecting big changes on it.
I think that in a way that is what a lot of mixed maps are like. They are just full speed or grass or something.
If you think about it, Twiggy, all maps are kind of just road connecting the start and the finish.
It's wild, isn't it? How there can be long stretches of road and short stretches of road, and they connect together to make an interesting map. That is so insane.
Crazy.
Either way, starting things off on Cosmos. And
we'll figure out, is anyone going to go for a little bounce, a little wall hit, a little legal wall tap?
Oh, I would love to see some more. The obviously the infamous now AMD tap, just insane. We started off, we were like, oh my god, that's so cool, actually gains speed, all of it, and then it sent him 5 miles backwards, back to the start of the map.
It is especially fun because it makes it pretty clear that sign, the material is plastic, so if you bonk it is not just car stopping, you are going backwards.
Yeah, you're going directly back where you came from, but either way. Chemko out ahead for the time being, Birdie down by a couple of seconds, I think clipped the edge of a wall on one of the tech turns, and now nobody going for the bonk, but Chemko stays ahead of Scandir for the time being.
Yeah, and Scandir is gaining, though. This one, Scandir's so quick. I feel like Scandir towards the end of this map is going to have the advantage in this identity. Setting up wider, looking for more speed, and exits quicker as well. One more turn. Scandir deep on the inside, nearly caught a bit of dirt. Chemko crashes. That means it's an ace to kick things off. 113.9 from Scandir, and I feel like there's probably a little bit more left in the tank.
Yeah. A competitive round still from FUT. Obviously, if Chemko did not crash that out, it would have still been a very, very close round. Could have ended in a draw, so not the end of the world for FUT. Silver lining on the ace there. At least it wasn't just straight up being beat out to every checkpoint. You just got to keep that in mind as you carry on. And Chemko's skin, very similar to alternate attacks at this point. Becoming difficult to tell who's who when they're all grouped up together, but either way.
Can we just jump to Chemko for a second? What is Chemko's skin? Is that just straight up the alternate attack skin?
I assume FUT have a white and a black skin. Oh, wait, no. Are they? Hold on.
It's not actually the alternate attack skin.
No, that isn't.
Is it an Alpha Tauri skin? Is that what's going on?
It has a Red Bull logo on it.
Yeah. Huh. It is very, very similar, though.
It is incredibly similar. Either way, Chemko staying ahead. Scandir again seems to be the quicker of the two out of Wosal, but that's always kind of been the case just by a little bit. Chemko stays ahead. Once again, could force a draw here, but Birdie does need to join his teammate up at the top at some point. Wosal goes with a wider entry into the turn. It's going to have more exit speed, but bonk, and now he's all the way in third place. I don't think an overtake is going to happen from Birdie. No, definitely not now. But at the very least, Chemko does force a draw there with a decent time.
Yeah, it's a good time from Chemko. We did see this a little bit
by Red Bull, so it is just a variation of the skin.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and there Birdie's driving in the black version of the same car. That's pretty cool. We did see last week, Twiggy, and I have to say this now, and it hurts me to say it because Birdie obviously has played for Team Ireland in the Trackmania Country Championship, things like this. Birdie definitely was the weak link in the team last week. You know, it was Chemko up front quite a lot of the time. And the rounds where Birdie could get it together and drive fast, they won rounds. And ultimately, it did carry them as far as this match. But when you're talking about Scandir and Wosal, and both of them are very quick and very consistent, having any form of a weak link is going to be a major issue. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the biggest... somehow the biggest issue for alternate attacks has always kind of been consistency of both players. A lot of the time it's great, you know, both of those players will do incredibly well, but a lot of the time also Scandir is going to be the one who is most consistent and quick. Wosal will sometimes make more mistakes. That is a high bar to be missing out on, so it is not... I mean, that's still, generally, he has less crashes than any other team. You can see 30% crashes down there. Same as Scandir, in fact, but less top one.
Forbidden angle. Oh,
forbidden angle, oh my lord. No, every time we see that, though, I mentioned this when I was solo casting, it feels like the skill level of the drivers, like if you see it from the regular perspective from Cam 1, it looks just like they're kind of having trouble driving. It just looks like their skill level has gone down to like I don't know, like a lower regional player. It's just like they don't quite have full control of their car.
Yeah. But it turns out they are still really good, and so that was again a very solid round from alternate attacks. They pick up another ace, their second of the match so far and the second of the map, and it's 7-1. And if alternate attacks pick up another ace, they will cleanly have picked up their map. Now Wosal has had a bit of a slow start here, but it's still a lot of pressure on Chemko and Birdie to try and deny Wosal the comeback.
Yeah, this time around, Birdie only down by half a second on his teammate. Has to slow down a tiny bit there. A release will give Wosal back his position. I think, once again, this is another situation where there is less confidence on the map from FUT. Well, Chemko seems relatively confident, at the very least, not making many mistakes and staying up, keeping up with Scandir and Wosal. Birdie seems a little more like it's just kind of that lack of confidence. Maybe the lines aren't as solid in his mind as you would like, but that is the way it works out when you when you get a map picked against you.
Yeah, and it does mean potentially as well FUT are going to have to be very good on their map picks. Chemko crashes, Wosal touches as well. Birdie will overtake, so Scandir will come first. Birdie will take second, and it'll be a round win. Alternate attacks moving to 9. FUT stay on 2. Rough situation to be in.
Yes, absolutely.
Pole. Just going exploring.
Yeah, fair enough. Have a little drive around.
Yeah, hey, that was quick from Scandir as well. Now, not as quick as Epos, who kind of was just on one last weekend.
Yeah, I think so. It will be Epos is playing. Oh wait, no, Epos.
Yeah, it's Epos is tomorrow up against Orcs GP Numlops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's Epos and Razzie, of course.
It's
game 2. Well, no, because there is no second game.
Yes,
because there is already Airwalkers through, as Shift have unfortunately had to forfeit their match.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're keeping you up with the schedule on the fly. You know, that's That's the mood. Oh dear. Oh, Birdie does not make the jump, hit the wall. Back with his teammate now, and it looks like this round is pretty solidly over. Now Wosal and Scandig just playing for PBs, world records. Go on. I think already a little too slow splits-wise to set a world record here, though.
This is kind of it as well. Like, alternate attacks are definitely a team that know when it's okay to safe,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
They will just play it safe if they have to. They aren't necessarily going to be pushing for world records at this point, especially in this match. It's just kind of I think, get the job done today and focus on middle stage then.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens when we're on FUT's map picks. I think, obviously, this map pool, we've said a couple of times, is notorious for being somewhat one-sided when you pick a map. A lot more likely to win out your own map picks than regular season maps. We'll see. 12-2 the first scoreline. It's a more one-sided scoreline than any of the maps that we saw. Wait, are we doing them now? I thought we were doing them between...
Oh no, we're fully... Look, this is our faces, Twiggy, and we're going to look at them, okay? There's a whole loading screen in between, and it's a whole thing.
I thought... No,
oh, the push-ups. Oh, you can do 5 push-ups now. I'll do some later, yeah.
Oh, sure, okay. That's fine, yeah.
That's fair.
I'll go to warm-up, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta keep the blood flowing. It's very important. It's a good idea. Honestly, if you're just gaming the rest of the time anyway, stand up, take breaks. Don't sit there for hours at a time and don't do anything. Go do some push-ups or some squats. It's incredible how much just a little bit of raising your heart rate or just getting up and being a little bit active can help you keep fit. Isn't that right, Twiggy?
Sorry, I heard can help you keep fit. Isn't that right, Twiggy?
Yeah, I was just saying, it's a good idea if you are gaming, you know, if you're having a long gaming session, just get up, you know, do a bit of movement, do 5 push-ups every time you die in game or something.
Sure. I actually know, I remember doing that kind of thing with, like, COD with my friends back in the day and being like, but that was like, I don't think it's... I'm all for fitness, but I don't think it's a good idea for, like, a kid to be, like, just destroying their pectorals by...
just ripping them apart. Yeah. Kids are resilient. They'll bounce back, Twiggy. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They've got springy bones.
Does rolling a cigarette count as well?
I mean, it uses muscle groups.
Do you know what? If you're standing up to go outside, it's not nothing.
Okay. Right, so let me phrase this correctly.
Careful.
So eating lettuce apparently uses more calories than...
Is that lettuce or is that I think it's a different green.
Okay,
I could be wrong.
Some green.
Some green
uses like chewing uses more calories than calories you're ingesting with it.
Celery. I'm pretty sure it's celery.
How big?
Yes.
Would you have to be to offset the health deficit?
Straight up deadlifting as you try to lift up the side of the paper.
That's what I'm saying.
That's interesting.
I'm just wondering, you know.
Yeah. Well, Salamandra, it depends on how frozen your celery is as well. Okay, you freeze that stuff with liquid nitrogen. You're having to chomp real hard to get through it. That's probably going to use a lot of muscles.
I mean, okay, look. We're just going with over and over again. We're just going to go with like some stuff in my life that I have seen. Either way. So, you know rusks, like what you give to children to eat.
Yes, otherwise known as pacifiers for anyone who may be joining us from the US, right? Or no, the rusks are like no. You're right.
It's
rusks
just like dehydrated bread.
Oh, see, if I hear rusk, I think of like a little rubber donut, basically.
No, like bread that has no moisture content.
It's time to Google.
It's like it's almost. Oh wow.
You're right. No, butcher rusk is a dry biscuit.
Yeah, sure.
Wild. Huh.
Okay, so my mum bought some of those while we were on holiday, and they must. I know they're fully carbohydrates, but you must. Like, the amount of jaw work in that is...
It's just absorbing any fluid inside your body as well. So, you know, I mean, it'll make you drink more water, and that's got to be healthy.
Yeah.
Twiggy, there was a pretty quick round for alternate attacks in the last round, and they picked up an ace. Both players managing to set a new PB on the updated version of the map as well. Birdie has fallen a little bit behind in this round, and Wosal and Scandir, if they pick up another ace here, I think the whole match is starting to feel pretty doomed to me.
Yes, I think this is a pretty good indicator of just alternate attacks' skill level at this point. Obviously, we know them as, well, if not the best team in the Challenger League, pretty much the best team in the Challenger League. Top 2 at the very least, consistently. And yeah, no, I think it does show. Especially after they've prepared on this one. Never mind. Yeah, they're horrible. Scandir can't even make a jump. What's going on there? It looks like there is going to be. Yeah, I didn't
that guy was good at mini RPG.
FUT Esports should be getting a round win here. Another PB for Kshemko, and actually getting pretty close now. 4/10 away from the world record by Epos, and yeah, Epos has a lot of world records. Yeah.
Yeah. Epos was looking really quick last weekend, and again, it's going to be a really exciting match tomorrow when it's going to be Epos and Razi up against Complex and Panda, because Complex and Panda also two very good players. Like, that's some of these matches are very intense for qualification.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a Trackmania Challenger League victor today in alternate attacks. We've got one tomorrow as well. So it will be very interesting to see how those ones turn out. I think it's a scary opponent to be up against, and honestly, picking robbers is a bit of a Chad move from Orcs. You know?
Yeah.
Like, they have been one of the more impressive teams, I feel like, in the group stage.
Just fully trying to knock them out. I don't remember what the pick order was, like who got to pick first and the rest of it. But so it may be that they were down to their last couple of actual choices for selection.
It's possible, but
if it was Robbers and Exalti that were kind of like the last two left or something.
Hold on. Yeah, no, Orcs won first seed. Sorry. Orcs won
Robbers
first seed.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that Orcs lost to Shift.
And they had 0 choice at that point. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, no, that makes 100. Sorry.
That all tracks.
I completely forgot that.
God, that was a good round. Chemko with a 108.8, just about holding off Wosa and Scandir, who are at least looking consistent. But there's room for growth in these times. But alternate attacks, they're up a little bit. They're not really attacking all that hard, I don't think. Just based on how they're playing it, they're not looking for best possible time. They're looking for consistency and good time. Yeah. It's carrying them pretty consistently in front of Birdie at the very least, and then all it takes is one mistake from Chemko and you've picked up another ace.
Right, exactly. I think that was their biggest kind of virtue in Season 1 of the Challenger League, was their consistency. Wosal and Scandir, it definitely got them through that one. There was no other team that could hold a candle to it. I think in the second, their consistency may have come back to bite them a little bit, plus them preparing for other competitions. It meant that other teams had that opportunity to really put together really good times and beat them out, such as Orcs. But yeah, I think when they get it right, definitely their consistency is a massive thing for them. Right now, it is just about keeping them ahead of Birdie, but they do need to get these jumps correct. Birdie goes very high. And we'll slow down and not even make the checkpoint, unfortunately. Scandir and Wosal, I think, are going to hold position in second and third. Chemko is not giving up first place there. Another PB, inching closer and closer to the world record there, but still not within 3/10 of it.
Very high final jump from Birdie there. That was really good from Chemko, who is just driving really fast times. But repeated draws while you are trailing by 2 points don't feel great. It doesn't feel bad, doesn't feel great. It kind of feels like you've ended up in a holding pattern here for FUT Esports.
Yeah, and I think the thing especially is that this is FUT Esports map pick, and they should be winning rounds. That is kind of how it is. So for Chemko, this is kind of relatively expected. Obviously, they're very good times, but it is kind of expected that you are going to be beating out the two alternate attacks players here. And the fact that it is kind of a chore is definitely probably weighing down on the FUT players at the moment. The fact that alternate attacks are keeping up with them with, I wouldn't say minimal effort, but not a massive amount.
like they've got something very heavy stepping on them or something. Hey, Wosal crashed, and I think Chemko slid out as well. So this is Scandir versus Birdie. Chemko forced to double respawn, whatever the line was. It was not working into that checkpoint. And I do enjoy that we can see a double respawn because it pops up the respawn twice.
Yeah, well, Scandir well out ahead now. Actually, I think setting a pretty good time. A full second ahead of Birdie, who this time does get that first jump correct. Second one quite wide, but it's all good. Yep. Good setup. Scandir is going to come home in first position. 109.04. Not as insane a time as I thought it was going to be. Wosal in third place. That does secure them the round. They need one more point to get this done.
Yeah, and as we've been talking about the consistency the entire time, the fact they just keep putting in good times, 109 or a couple of tenths below, and that has been good enough for a top 2 in essentially every single round so far. So I guess good luck managing to pull off the ace to deny in this round and then tying things up and moving on from there. FUT Esports, they're looking like they're going to drop their first map pick.
Yes. Yeah, no, it does look that way. And I think that's probably a good signal for the rest of the series. You said it would be an upset if FUT won one map.
I was being harsh, but you got to admit, it's starting to look like a little bit. Maybe that was true.
It's looking like it's very possible that it will happen. The 4-0, I mean. We'll see. We'll see. Such is the case with a wide map pool, and you're playing, you know, you're playing best of 7s. Yeah, there's definitely a possibility. Easily a possibility. And Chemko in first place now. If Birdie does manage to overtake both alternate attacks players, looking unlikely. Yeah, very low speed. He's going to have to be very careful with this jump. And it does look like alternate attacks are going to get that 1 point they need. It will be 10-7, the scoreline. Once again, consistent lines. Get them through it. Nothing groundbreaking in terms of times. That does not matter whatsoever. So 10-7 the scoreline, and alternate attacks move to 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, and it's job done again. Second map in a row where alternate attacks, as you say, don't have anything spectacular to show in terms of time. They're not really challenging those world records that were set over the last couple of weeks, but they absolutely don't need to be. They're building up enough of a points cushion early on and then just kind of keeping things safe when they see they've got a lead and taking up round wins, points wherever they get them.
Yeah. Push-up time.
Push-up time? Oh, yeah, I have to do 5 push-ups.
5 in the bank.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go. We just got our producer shouting, you have 15 seconds from what sounded like across the room. So, that camera is fair enough. We're not really going to get a good look at his form, but hey, we can at least him go up and down. There you go. Very good. Nice. Well done. Well done. You can also see his little stats page at the back there.
Yeah, and I just managed to get those in before we swap cameras again. So honestly, pretty impressive.
Good. Nicely done.
Yeah, Chemko's been looking really good so far. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, speaking of the push-ups, by the way, you know why okay, so I did do the 20 last time I streamed, and I only realized that I very much know this because I remember the day after thinking, why do my pecs hurt? Like, why are my pecs sore? And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no upper body strength. That's why. I remember now, yeah.
My pecs were also quite sore the day after last weekend. Yeah. Then I went climbing the following day.
Like, deceptively difficult. Or not difficult, but like strenuous.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I have some weights in the room. I can swap to bicep curls instead. I
don't have any weights at home. I literally live
PC.
I have a gym mat. Not a gym mat, like a yoga mat. So I do what's it called?
Planking? Yoga?
No, like
calisthenics.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I was ready to go to like Brazilian dance fighting or something.
I mean that too, but hey. Either way, first round here on alternate attacks' map pick. Second map pick is a 3-0. Excuse me. And yeah, looking like it's going to stay that way at the very least for the rest of this map, if not the rest of the series. They look confident and fast here.
Yeah, Scandir again, just... this is a map that I literally just can't imagine a world where Scandir is not incredibly comfortable on this map compared to pretty much anyone else who plays it.
Yeah, I mean, it is the resident RPG player, and looking really good right now. Both Wosal and Skandir, full credit to both of them. Wosal does clip a wheel there. I've seen everyone clip that wheel so far, so that's not a surprising one, but it does send him back down into third position. Skandir stays in first. Birdie is going to go for a respawn, so Wosal has all the space in the world. Now just needs to try and overtake Chemko to maximize points out of this round. Birdie fully respawning now, completely out of the round, it seems like. Skandir staying safe all the way through. It's all good. Chemko looks like is going to come home in second. A little bit wobbly on the final jumps, but over the finish line comfortably, and 1 point at the very least for FUT.
Yeah, and it's again one of those things where Skandir is just absolutely not pushing right now. It's safety the entire way through.
I mean, obviously, the style of the map does mean that it's difficult to get, like, you're going to see a lot of times that are good, but not within, like, a second of the world record, just because when you're going for jumps and stuff, unless you really risk it, there's really no reason to go for a low line in a lot of these jumps or anything, because the risk just far outweighs the reward in that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Skandir set a time within, you know, 7/6 of the world record here.
Yeah, I think did in the first round as well. So
yeah,
you're absolutely right, Twiggy. We don't have to be surprised. It's already happened.
All right, I'll say 5 or 4/10. There you go.
Ooh. I honestly, like, Skandir has to have the ability to set a world record on this map in the bag. Like,
yeah, I mean the ability, 100%. Whether he wants to go for it in live rounds is another question.
Probably not right now, exactly. And it is just comfortably sitting with Wosal here, and they have a 10-second gap, right? Like, now is the time.
Exactly. There's no reason to do anything.
Calm it down a little bit.
As high as you like. Whee.
It is quite high there.
Yeah.
Relative to how risky you could be on that jump,
exactly,
that is a relatively safe way of doing it, Skandir.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's fine.
Oh,
all good.
A little bit of pinball. Now, in a close round, that'd be bad. In a round where you are 12 seconds ahead of your nearest opponent, totally fine.
Yeah. Those are deceptively awkward jumps. Obviously, that last platform is plastic, so you need to be very careful how you approach it. But there's not much time to adjust your approach to it. And the fact that Birdie has set a PB there with a 13-second difference from first place, I think, speaks volumes about how this map has gone for FUT so far, and how, well, it will continue to go if they get through this stage of the competition, but that is looking unlikely.
Yeah. And it is, I think, just... Not to harp on the point too finely, but you look at the stats down in the bottom left for players. Birdie is sitting on 73% crashes in rounds.
Yeah. That's over the course of the whole, like,
over the course, exactly,
stage,
including group stage. Chemko on 40%, obviously, and then if you compare that to what's going on with the alternate attacks cars, I mean, Skandir at 27%, Wosal on 30%. It is just, hey, these guys crash less. That was kind of the case in Challenger League all year as well. It's the case in this match too, and it is definitely helping them out a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Chemko is going to have to respawn on that one. Skandir, following his teammate up, was behind Birdie for a second there, but gets back ahead with some superior speed. Still playing that jump pretty safely as well. I mean, there's no massive, strenuous kind of activity going on through for either of these players. Wosal is going to come home to a very convincing first. Still not breaking the 105 there. Not really needing to, but either way, it's an ace. And it's 11-1 the scoreline, incredibly convincing there for alternate attacks, and now within one map of winning the whole series.
And one of the things I do want to praise alternate attacks for on that map in particular is their ability to play it safe. Because on a map like that, there's a lot of drivers and a lot of teams where if they try to safe, like the muscle memory that you need to get through those tricks, and you've been practicing the fastest way, when you try to play it a little bit safer, all of a sudden you're under jumping, you're hitting jumps wrong, you're kind of actually just ending up crashing. The fact that alternate attacks have safe routes available on that is kind of just speaking to their comfort on the map as a whole, and very impressive. And with that, as you say, they moved to 3-0 up and are looking to close this out in the 4-0 sweep. It's going to take a lot to stop them at this point.
It definitely is. Well, we'll see what happens. Obviously, again, back towards FUT's map pick, and anything could happen here. But it's really looking difficult. Whoa, there you go. I'm
backing alternate attacks too hard at this point.
Honestly, I'm also backing them, but hey.
Yeah, anything could happen. You're right, Twiggy.
I'm not saying the FUT are going to win the whole series. I'm just saying.
Okay, no, I think you were. I think you called the reverse sweep.
Of course I did. Yeah, I definitely did that.
That sounds reasonable.
So far, Kimco having a good time of it once again, and some inconsistencies creeping through in the first round for alternate aTTaX. So there is a possibility that FUT pull ahead on the first round here.
Gemco was, as far as I remember, actually really, really good on Valley last week as well. Is really, really good going to be good enough to beat alternate aTTaX? I guess we just wait and find out.
Yeah, exactly. Our bar is raising week on week here, and obviously the bar is going to raise considerably more when we get to the final 16 of the competition, when the Grand League teams get injected into the competition. But yeah, it's the highest it's ever been, and yeah, we might have to redefine very, very good at this point, because as Chemco gets forward, first place is all good. Skandir not quite fast enough to overtake there. Good time as well, 108.8. Birdie, though, not too far behind, but not close enough to get any points over alternate aTTaX there.
And we did see both Chemco and Skandir going for that kind of inside line on the finish. And we did see in our match earlier that trying to go a little bit wider on the outside, it's scary, it's risky, but there is a lot of time to be gained. Obviously, you're engine off going up that final hill. And much the same way at the end of braking during stage 2. Once there's an engine off and any kind of uphill, there are suddenly tenths to be gained in the final half a second of the map.
Yeah, you want to be taking as much speed through there as possible, so no sliding that turn is well, as close to no sliding as possible is very nice to do. You don't want to lose out on a lot of speed on that, but not the end of the world for a lot of teams. I think there aren't many players who go for a super outside line consistently. And so it's not a massive risk for a lot of these players. Alternate aTTaX now in an ace position here once again. FUT's second map pick, and it might be the last map of the series. In fact, it's looking more and more likely as we move on through. Chemco goes for a more inside line, loses out on exit speed. I think clips the corner there as well. Is going to have to go for a respawn. This is pretty much set in stone. An ace here, and Moisar is going to nicely demonstrate the extra speed you get if you do no slide that turn. Overtake his teammate into the finish line. PBs for both of them. And an ace.
A clean ace. Yeah, just not making mistakes. It's the alternate aTTaX way. I think you need to get that printed on the back of the car at some point. Just no mistakes. Yeah. It wins rounds, right? That's ultimately what it has done for alternate aTTaX. Again, I do kind of worry for them later on in the World Championship. Right now, they're not showing any incredible pace, and you do need to be able to hit this level of consistency, probably approaching what the current world record is by Stuffed, if you want to go deep into this World Championship.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is going to start to be the time we're going to see, maybe not regued, but close to, at the very least. And I think that's the case for a lot of the world records we're seeing right now. They're going to be smashed out of the water at some point in the competition. Whether they're going to be regued or not, a different matter. I think Edge is going to be difficult to regu like a low 104. However, I wouldn't rule it out for some of the Grand League teams.
Yeah. Players like Pack and Carl Jr. coming in, you know, I mean, basically I could have said any Grand League player there. I mean, Gwen we saw absolutely terrifying on some maps last stage as well. It's going to be really interesting seeing what these maps look like when they are kind of pushed to their limits. Yeah,
especially because they have had a lot of time. Just about getting that one done. Very good time from Wosal, bringing it down to a 0.5. Yeah, these Grand League teams have had a lot of time to practice, and practice time is very different, obviously. There are benefits and kind of drawbacks for practice time as opposed to competition time, right? Competition time is a different kind of practice in a way. But practice time really gets you into a headspace where you can get lines down perfectly. Competition time is more adaptation, thinking on the fly, kind of, you know, making different decisions when you are 1/10 behind a player as opposed to 10 seconds ahead of a player. So they're both good for different things, but I think it's going to be really meaningful when it comes to Grand League teams in terms of what kind of times they are regularly getting and their consistency on maps.
I did see Wosal fully grinding the nose of the car with the reactor around that turn, and it must not be deliberate. Obviously, it doesn't really lose you time, though. And I'm almost wondering, with the reactor on, is there any possibility of time gain there? Because if there is, that's legal now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Any kind of wall bang is now illegal. I think as well there is some leniency. Oh, that's the end of that. Okay.
Well, there goes the match. We won't get to see next round if Wosa was going to do it again.
I think, yeah, there's obviously some leniency on, not shortcuts, but safe routes and stuff like that as well. So, you know, we could see some... I don't know if there's going to be anything